So today I'm going to show you my Meantone guitar, which is here, there you go, and I'm going to talk about it. So what makes it a Meantone guitar is the split frets here, or double fret. Ooh, that's it. That is some noise probably coming from next door. Right, so I think if we start on the D string, and I can show you what things are. So that's D sharp, that's C flat, so not at all the same. And then that'll be E, F flat. If you want E sharp, you've got to bend. Then F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B plus C flat, C sharp, D flat, D, oops, D. So the D string's the easiest one to think about because it corresponds to the white notes on a piano keyboard, and you have equal numbers of sharps and flats. And so the point of the Meantone fretting is that chords are a bit better in tune. So we'll try some chords. We have E major, and E minor, we have A major, a bit difficult, which is because three fingers next to each other have to go into that space, and if this finger's too far back you get that sound. So the A, and there's like an A7 there, or an easier A7. And we can also do A minor and A sub minor. Similarly, we have D, growing D minor, D sub minor, D7, and D harmonic 7. So there's a general rule that if you're in if you're playing in E, you tend to use this fret, so E major's there. If you're playing in C or stuff, you use this fret, so the general A minor is there, and D major. And obviously it depends with your sharps and your flats. Sharps are likely to be there, flats are likely to be there, and it follows through for the other double frets. So, tuned to standard tuning, which I call Spanish tuning, although apparently that's not what blues types do. So the first note here is E, and that's, so I'm looking at the piano tech reader now, which you can't see. One nice thing about, not piano tech, what am I talking about? Guitarix is a guitar, isn't it? They both pretend to be other things, piano tech and Guitarix. So Guitarix Guitarix is pretending to be an amplifier for me, and it's set to 31 tone equal temperament, which near enough fits the mean tone I put this to. So E, A. So well, when I do it with a tuner, it's all a bit sharp at the moment, but that would be to A440. E is slightly flat, a few cents flat. That is actually, let's turn it a bit back. Ooh. That's about where it was. E, A, D is slightly sharp, of equal temperaments. G should not be as sharp as that, but it should be a bit sharp of equal temperament. B is 6 cents flat, and then E slightly flatter. So while I am here, we'll try some distortion. So remember we have A minor, A major. So let's try a bit more distortion. So one thing about distortion is the conventional wisdom is if you've got a lot of distortion, you don't play the thirds. So you've got like that. But with a good mean tone tuning, that's no problem. So the major's good, but the minor's not so good. It's just because minors are less simple O-tonal ratio. If you know your parts, go to A minor, still not so good. But the A sub minor, I predict, will sound better. See, so major, sub minor, and that is because the sub minor chord is roughly 6, 7, 9, and so that is in the Harmonic Series, and it's simpler, and when you get the distortion, it'll reinforce itself. So you should be able to do, well, let's try with D. D major, D minor, then D sub minor. That's okay. We can also do the D7, so the D7, not so good. D harmonic 7th should be better. There we go. And we can also combine the harmonic 7th with the sub minor 3rd, if I get it right, which will be... So there's some basic chords with distortion, and we've got other distortions here if you and if you like distortion, I do videos where I just show that. We'll go back to this one now. So the general effect of the retuning is you get a much cleaner and more mellow sound which comes out of this. Although, as I've shown, you also get good, clean, crisp, distorted sounds. So it's all good. Obviously it is a bit harder to play this than it was to play a normal guitar. So let me talk about the frets here. This is a complete refret, although a couple of the frets went back in their old holes. What I did, I I sat down with my uncle, or my was it my granddad's brother, I think, who was a carpenter, and so he basically knew what he was doing with wood. And I took the old frets out, which is fairly easy. You need nail clippers or something like that, pull them out. And we used the wrong saw, which was a problem. I used a computer to print out a template to tell me where these frets were supposed to go according to my mathematical ideas. The holes are too wide, so if you can get that. These frets don't sit in properly. Well, you look at it from the side, because this neck is not completely flat, but the frets they want to be flat, and so they're glued into place, and they don't match the neck properly. It can be a problem with this string. One thing I've done at the bridge here, that high E string is raised slightly at the bridge, which means it's further from its pickup. It doesn't really work too well, but with new strings it's not too bad at all. Now, some of the frets here are bad. There you go, there's a bad, which adds to problems, I think. So, if it had been a professional job, most of that would have gone. Although you can still have issues where, because these frets are close together than normal, you can have some buzzing. So what I do is raise the bridge a bit, and also I'm using a slightly heavier gauge string than I would otherwise. And I can't remember the numbers. I didn't come prepared with a pack of strings. These are yellow strings. Otherwise I'd use pinks, which are lighter and easier to bend. But one nice thing about having the extra frets is there's less need to bend strings. So you can get microtonal effects just on the frets. I'm just more familiar with standard tuning, or Spanish tuning as I insist on calling it. But I've tried others. There's generally with these frets, there are no tunings that don't work that I've found, because every note's still a note. And I've never found a guitar tuning that actually requires equal temperament. Some things like open fourths or even the basic tuning certainly do help with Meantone, because otherwise, as I've shown in the other video, it's not clear how you want A to be tuned, but here it's no problem, we know A. So this is not quite the same as saying that all things are playable. So there's, I mean, I have trouble with me F. I think this would be an F. So that's coming out okay. Yeah. So there are two problems playing this chord. Every note is there where you want it. We're not missing any notes. And for the simple keys, everything is going to be there. So I see no need to fill in these extra frets and go to 31 tone equal temperament. Some people have 31 tone fretted guitars and are quite happy with them. You can obviously see this is one step, this is two steps, so you just fill in all the bigger ones and it'll be roughly equally spaced in sound. The problem is that basic things would get harder, so you remember my difficulties with this A. I'm putting the fingers on the frets there. If there were another fret sitting here, well, that A chord would be impossible. I just couldn't play it. If you can play it, then good for you. You obviously have very thin fingers or immense skill at guitar. But I think there are bigger problems with B chords. Is this supposed to be B? Well, that kind of works. Every now and then you'll find a chord as normally played will ask you to put too many fingers down there, and I don't really know. So it is harder than with normal frets. But most things do still work, and so you can take normal guitar technique, guitar tablature, and either by ear or by reckoning whether it's a sharp or flat, you can disambiguate things. There may be some chords that don't come out, but sorry. Well, okay, there's a thing about the seventh chords. Let me play. This is E7, which is good. Now, ideally, there'd be another fret here. You can see, if you look carefully, that there used to be another fret there, and I pulled it out because it was just getting too difficult to play. So an E harmonic seventh would want to use that. So what I have to do is bend the string with my little finger. But it sort of works. So the other thing, the thing I forgot to mention about these frets is this is mandolin wire. Advantage of mandolin wire over guitar wire, guitar fret wire, is it's thinner. So where the frets get closer together, you've still got space in the middle to play. I'm not sure this was actually a good idea. I think probably guitar fret wire would be good. I think it's harder to play bar chords with this fret wire. And having a more gap doesn't necessarily work, because if you play at the edge of the gap, it doesn't sound so good as down there. Charles Lucy, who is the pioneer of Meantone guitars, although he doesn't call them that, he used to do this octave here, mandolin wire, and that one, standard guitar wire, which makes a lot of sense to me, but wasn't what I did, so there you go. Obviously, shooting to Meantone doesn't make it any easier to hit the right strings. Yeah, one day I'll put it in open tuning and show you that. Obviously, the nice thing about open tuning with microtonal fretting is that you can tune it to sound with a harmonious chord, and the frets, the places you'd want them to be. There's a problem with open chords in that you want to tune to a G like that. Or some if you get the thirds to sound right, the frets on that string are wrong. With good fretting, they're right. But in this case, I've stuck with open tuning anyway. So there you go. If you want to subscribe, it's really up to you. If you are enthused by this introduction to the guitar, you can look at the YouTube channel and you'll see other things I've done with it. And oh, good luck to you really. Shall I play something out?